So what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Movement6, and before we start, as a growing habit, huge thank you to everybody who subbed this week, especially on YouTube. We made a quantum leap forward, but also of course on Twitch. I've started streaming not so long ago and we're already pushing 50, and I'm already well on my way to become an affiliate streamer, so I'm really proud on that. We're making progress, so thank you very much for all the support, guys. Today we're going into PlayStation 5. Everything we need to know, and I was reading an article about Sam Loveridge on Games Radar, and once in a while I just love to go through these articles and just give some background, give my opinion. So for now, let's get into it. So guys, PS5 releasing holiday 2020, and hopefully with the situation in the world developing, well, we should all be just remind ourselves that it could well be that we will face delays in launches. Either Xbox, PlayStation 5. For now, it's not that imminent. They still claim to have enough and to provide for the market. So let's just hope that everything goes right and that everything will be delivered on time, of course. Now, let's go to the first strong few features we've seen from the PlayStation 5. But if you know the channel, I'm not into the hardware, right? I'm a techie, I'm an IT nerd, but I also value the fact that maybe 97 or 98% of all the consumers out there are more impressed with the games, what it has to offer, because those are the system sellers, not the hardware. If you got the hardware but no games, the hardware won't sell. And they want to see something special on their TV, right? The underlying hardware is not that important. It's important to you, it's maybe important to me, but I like to think from a consumer standpoint. But let's get into it. The biggest news takeaways from today's PS5 event, which was a couple of days ago, can be captured here. Well, Sony says PS5 SSD is key to next-gen hardware. We know that the load times, the quick, the speed, fine. PS5 game updates will be more streamlined, so I'll say goodbye to copying delays. Woohoo! That to me is the biggest frustration of the PS5 platform, the copying. They did explain it very right why it is, and it makes sense from an architectural standpoint. It doesn't make sense anymore. It was maybe okay 7 years ago and fine and everybody was hyped. It's a pain in the ass. Just the other day, I was the update of the Modern Warfare. It's about 20 gigabytes, maybe 18, I don't know. The copying just went on and on. I've got a very strong internet connection, and both on my base PlayStation 4 and my Pro, the download was pretty quick, but the copying took forever. Load times eliminated to give the game designer freedom to make whatever they want, which is good because the load time should be, well, practically down to zero. It will never be exactly zero, but it will give a lot more freedom to these guys. You can play PS4 games and PS5 with an external hard drive. That is something I do want to understand here, because I was a bit confused about this sentence because I've got a lot of PlayStation 4 physical copies. I'm an old geezer, I like my physical copies, I do have some downloads, but I always like it when I have those special boxes in my hand, put it in a closet so you can see it. Okay, but does that mean that it will not play physical media, or am I wrong here? So if you got some information on that, please share it. But on the other side, it is good news because you could just download what you have on your PlayStation 4 to your external hard drive. And as far as I could understand, you just plug and play, put it in there, and you can play the PlayStation 4 games. PlayStation 5 game betas coming before the end of the year. Okay, good, but we need a PlayStation 5 to play it, right? So aside from tech details, all we know right now is that Sony's next-gen console is arriving somewhere holiday 2020. Specifics really matter, aka price games, on what the PS5 design will be. However, it is interesting that the official Sony PlayStation 5 webpage is now live, as it makes us think that something is happening soon. And that will be absolutely fantastic. I do think that the whole period we've seen from Sony for the PlayStation 5 was not that great, right? It could be better, and I think Xbox did stole the show somewhat in the beginning with releasing everything. But I think Xbox's biggest problem right now is that they need to hurry up with delivering exclusives. What we do know now is that Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is on its way. So it's a rumor, but we all know it's happening right now. It's going to be an exclusive, of course, for the PlayStation 5. Despite the fact that it's going, well, I think Horizon Zero Dawn is getting a release now on PC. It's not going to come to Xbox. So that's a good sign, right? This is what we need. This is what we want to hear. So the PlayStation 5 is going to be in direct competition with the Xbox Series X, which is coming also holiday 2020. As we know what it looks like. We know from the Xbox what it looks like. Your turn, Sony. Interestingly, Sony CEO Jim Ryan states that there is a lot more news to come out about the PS5. He said that the console has a number of unique elements that make it stand out from its predecessors that have yet to be announced. So what could that be? I think cloud gaming is not something that's going to be massively special. Backwards compatibility is not really special. So I'm really interested to see that because I want to see some exclusives, guys. I want to see what we can do on the PlayStation 5 with exclusives, because that's what's going to make the decision for people to either buy an Xbox or a PlayStation. With every new console, the processor and graphics get better, which is, of course, compelling, but we need to have unique elements too. Apparently, many of these bigger differences between PS5 and PS4 haven't yet been announced. What I found very compelling here is that he is not comparing these bigger or newer features to the Xbox One. He's comparing them to the PS4 one. So it most definitely has got something to do with cloud gaming, so we need to wait for that. So here we are with the backwards compatibility. This is for me a game changer because that was one of the bigger disappointments in the PlayStation 4, that it's not backwards compatible with PlayStation 3. Hold your horses. I know you got a PlayStation Home or something. Sorry, but I'm not going to pay that amount of money for games I already own. I've got a huge library of physical media of the PlayStation 3. I'm very happy that my PlayStation 3 is still working because I still play some games on it. But the backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 4 is for me a game changer. That is for me something that I've loved to have seen on the PlayStation 4. It's now coming to the PlayStation 5, so that's good. We'll have a disc drive. It's been in development for over 4 years and a number of studios are already working on PlayStation 5 games. It'll boost 8K graphics. That to me is going to be fantastic because I own an 8K TV. That's the Samsung 950 Q950R or R950Q, well, one of those. It's fantastic. It upscales 4K to 8K, and if it can boost 8K graphic and support ray tracing, that is going to be awesome for single player games in my living room, right? Under the hood, it will be a custom-made AMD CPU GPU. That's something that we already know, and all that combined, we now can show you what we know. Release date. It's holiday 2020, so let's get our hope fixed that this is going to be 2020. But we know that the situation in the world can also drive to postpone it, but let's hope. A new rumor has plastic consoles launched now for November 20 of the next year. Well, that was 2019, but it's not 2020. Simultaneously stating that it'll be selling for the day one price of $499 in the United States. Comparison, the PS4's initial cost was $399. I think that's fair, $499. With all the specs we've seen right now, from a hardware standpoint, I'm okay with that. I don't know, of course I can't make decisions about people's wallets. For me, that's a fair price for a console. So the reason why it will be a bit more expensive than the PlayStation 3 is just because of what's under the hood, right? And as said, I'm not really into the hardware, but it does justify that there is a price point that you will have to pay for the power you will get. So that's why it's around £450, $500, $499, right? So that's fair to me. There was a report that suggested that Sony was struggling to keep the PS5 retail prices low. I think from the top of my head that the PlayStation 2 in the beginning was sold below the cost price, just to make sure that it was pushed into the market. That is not really a good strategy here. They do need to make either break even or make some money out of it, but let's see where it comes. I think $499 is going to be a fair price for this one. Well, the logo, bye. The specs and performances It's not something I want to get into really deep here because I'm not into the hardware per se for consumers in general, but it will run on an AMD CPU chip that is based on the third generation of AMD's Ryzen line. I'm a fan, and my PC is also built on Ryzen line, so I'm pretty okay with that. I must say I'm seeing a lot of pros compared to Intel, so fine, they made the decision. It's an 8-core custom-made beast based on the company's new 7 nanometer Zen 2 microarchitecture. Fine. CPU is a custom variant of AMD's Radeon Navi family and will support ray tracing, an effect that is staple of Hollywood and one that's beginning to appear in high-end PC processors and the NVIDIA RTX gaming line. I've got the 2080 here from RTX NVIDIA. I love it. I absolutely love it. I still need to get into the gaming on PC, but I absolutely love it. So a big part of the GPU setup will be support for 8K resolution and the ray tracing, but the 8K, that is going to be a question mark for me here. Is it going to be the base PlayStation 5 that comes out that is going to be able to support 8K? Or are we going to see a PlayStation 5 Pro that, just like the PlayStation 4, upgrades from a 1080p to, it's not native, but 4K signal? I want to see what we're going to do here. I fail to understand that we are going to have an 8K resolution from the get-go when it launches. But okay, let's see what it brings, right? So what is also very imminent in the next generation of consoles is that the audio enhancements. Now, the audio leap from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4 wasn't big. It's more or less the same quality audio you had on the PlayStation 3 built into the PlayStation 4. We're going to get 3D audio and we're going to massive upgrade into the audio realm, which is fantastic. If you want to run tests to see if the player can hear certain audio sources or if the enemy can hear the player's footstep, ray tracing is useful for that too. So ray tracing is not just about visuals, it's also about audio and environment. It turns out that Sony is also adding a custom unit for 3D audio in the PlayStation 5 too, taking the attention to audio and sound improvement to the next level for its upcoming console. As a gamer, it's been a little bit of a frustration that audio did not change too much between PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, as I just mentioned. With the next console, the dream is to show how dramatically different the audio experience can be when we apply significant amounts of hardware horsepower to it. I'm really looking forward how that works. So the biggest quantum leap will also be in load times. There is a short clip here. I'm not going to play it. I think most of you guys have seen it. It's about the PlayStation 4 loading times, and it took only 0.8 seconds, which was fine. So here's a full list on what we have. CPU, 8 cores and 2, 3.5 gigahertz variable frequency, GPU 10.28 teraflops, 36 CUs at 2.23 gigahertz. GPU architecture is a custom RDNA 2, memory interface 16 gigabyte GDDR6, memory bandwidth 448 gigabit per second, internal storage is 825 gigabyte SSD, I/O throughput 5.5 gigabyte per second raw, typical 8 to 9 gigabyte per second when compressed. Expandable storage, NVMe SSD slot. Those are the things we've seen already passing by. You can plug in their PlayStation only, where you can upgrade from 2 to 4 to 8 terabyte. External storage, USB HDD support, and an optical dive 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, which is great. Now, this has been a very controversial one. The controller. It is the DualSense, the successor of the DualShock line, of course, and they revealed the control in April. So yeah, this is just a matter of dates. I like it. I extremely like it, but that is more because that's also the reason why I like playing on the Nacon controller on my PlayStation 4. I do get the PlayStation controllers that people like it, but for my big hands, I do fancy the Xbox controller as well over a PlayStation controller. That's just got to do with ergonomics and with taste, and that's why I also like playing on my Nacon. It has a better fit for me. So I'm really glad to see that they stole a bit from maybe the ergonomics and the look and feel from Xbox here, which is fine for me. There are a few functions and features. Haptic feedback delivers a variety of powerful sensations that you make when you play the game, such as slow grittiness of driving a car through mud. And the DualShock 4 had rumble functionality, but the DualSense goes much further than that with subtle and varied types of feedback. Adaptive triggers, the L2 and R2 button. Create button, the share button has been replaced, but the new create button serves a similar purpose. And a built-in microphone. So let's see what it does there. The user interface is completely revamped. So it's going to be totally different than what we know from the PlayStation 4. Fine, I generally like the PlayStation 4. It resembles the PlayStation 3 a bit, but the tiles, I really liked it. It's very clean, good overview. I hate the Xbox user interface, the Xbox One, but let's see where it goes, right? Streaming. PlayStation was revealed a series of slides presented by CEO Jim Ryan. At the very same aforementioned corporate strategy event, the gameplay a lot of times were shown off. These slides focused on the company's long and short-term future when it comes to PlayStation and confirmed that PS5 streaming will go hand in hand with physical discs and digital downloads as a way to experience games going forward. The deck outlined a massively enhanced PlayStation community where enriched and shared PlayStation experiences can be seamlessly enjoyed independent of time and place. Fine, let's see what it goes there. It's a new feature. I'm looking forward. This is the backwards compatibility. The only thing that's still a question mark is it going to be older, right? PlayStation 3, 2, and 1. That will be absolutely massively if they called, and that's called here remastering by emulation. There is a pattern, there is a technique apparently for it. If that is possible to have my PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 games in there, fine. Will there be a PlayStation 5 VR? Yes, there will be a new, but the old one you already have on the PlayStation 4 will be fully compatible. And now we're coming into the most important part of the PlayStation 5, the system sellers. This is the core. You can have all the horsepower you want. If you do not have the exclusive in the games that set yourself apart from the competition, then there is no reason to buy, no justification to move for the consumer. Now, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, it is a rumor, but it's a very hard rumor. We all know that Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is going to be one of the biggest system sellers for the PlayStation 5. It's a sequel to 2015. They're actively in the works right now. Techland confirmed that Dying Light 2 will also launch on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Fine, EA said next-gen titles. I genuinely don't care about multi-platform third-party developers. I want to see where we are going with... We all know that games, The Last of Us 2, right? It's going to be launching on PlayStation 4. It's going to be launching on PlayStation 5. So it will be optimized for PlayStation 4 and we'll be able to be playing on PlayStation 5 as well. I will playing that on PlayStation 4. Fine. But I want to see what's going to be the system sellers there. Must say that I'm still a bit in the dark and not really... We've seen a few things, right? We've seen a few games. What the world now needs to see is the games that you can only play on a certain game. On Xbox, we know we have Gears of War, we've got Halo. We know that Halo is going to be one of those games. What are going to be new IPs? We know that Sony is working on a new IP. We've seen that small demo. That is something we need to see, guys. So there is a lot to discuss, a lot to see, a lot to anticipate. There is also still a lot open and in the dark. But one thing's for sure, there is still no delay. We will see the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X launching at the end of the year, probably around November, December time. I'm just really looking forward to all the things we're going to see in the months to come. So my question to you guys, what do you want in the PlayStation 5 or in the Xbox Series? What do you want to see there? Is it backwards compatibility or maybe something we haven't discussed here? Really looking forward to that comment. I'll be back with you guys very shortly with some gameplay on Modern Warfare. I got some fantastic Juggernaut gameplay for you guys that is coming up. For now, catch me on my stream. Go to Twitch TV, search for Movement 6, and catch me online almost every night when I'm playing Rainbow Six Siege or Modern Warfare with the boys. Speak soon. Bye.